Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here as we begin the playoffs for Season 4 of the NNSCRA Duracell Cup Series. After the conclusion of Auto Club last week, we now know the 16 drivers that will take part in the 10-race shootout to find out who is going to be the champion of the Duracell Cup Series in its fourth season. We do have the opportunity for at least two of our former champions to become a multi-time champion here in Duracell Cup, as Season 1 champion Chris Dollarton and the defending champion Jordan Lopez are both in this season's postseason playoffs. Drivers, though, however, they just want to go out there and finish out the season with a victory as they are not taking part in the championship battle, and two of those drivers make up our front row. Austin LaPlante going to line up on point in the number 48. He is still looking for his first win on the season. He's also just picked up his fourth pole on the year, which ties him now, I believe, with Cole Baker for most poles this season, and breaks the tie that he and Charles Belding had for second most poles this season. Alongside of him is going to be Ryan Acosta. Ryan Acosta had some late season charges. We thought maybe he'd be able to find victory lane, as he is the other former winner, former champion, I should say, in the series, but could not find victory lane. Subsequently, he will not be battling for the championship, but still would like to be able to pick up a win, as he has seen teammates of his go to victory lane already this year. Nathan Ormond has gone to victory lane twice for Joanna Atwood Motorsports. The highest playoff contender is going to be Ryan Brommer. He'll be rolling off from the inside of row 2 alongside of another playoff contender in Jesse Turner. We're going to talk about all 16 drivers right now and what their point situation is after the points were reformatted last week at Auto Club. Adam Garcia raked in the points last week, as not only did he pick up his third checkered flag on the season, sweeping both of the 2-mile speedways, but he also won the regular season championship. So he got 15 bonus points for his 3 wins, 5 points apiece, and 15 bonus points for winning the regular season championship. He comes in because of that with a 20-point advantage back to your 2-time winners, which are Mitchell Collins, Nathan Ormond, T Wright, Jordan Lopez, Jesse Turner, Cole Deaver, and Ryan Butcher. 25 points back is where we find our 1-time winners: Dylan Young, J Millz, Ryan Brommer, Keith Batson, Zach Rogers, Chris Dollarton, and Charles Belding. Of course, Dollarton, a non-charter driver, but because he is a playoff contender, he is locked into the final 10 races of the season. And the only other driver that is in the playoffs that did not have a win that pointed his way in and subsequently is 30 points back is Carson Gum. Could a driver that didn't even win his way into the playoffs maybe wrap up this championship? We're going to have to wait and find out. It's time, though, to go down trackside. We're going to get those most famous words in motorsports, and then we're going to get them underway for what should be a very exciting first race here to the playoffs at Richmond.
Drivers, start your engines.
Pace car is going to lead the field off of pit road. We saw a completely green flag race with our non-charter qualifying event earlier on today. So we will see if we will get more of the same here, or if with the fact that a championship's on the line, if maybe we will end up having our first caution of the weekend. 60 laps of racing for this one, a little bit over twice the amount of laps they ran the non-charter qualifying session. And again, remember, for the playoff contenders, if any of them win here today, they are automatically locked into the round of 12, regardless of the upcoming weeks at Charlotte Roval and Indianapolis. But Austin LaPlante leads us down, and the playoffs have officially begun. The Duracell Cup Series. Let's roll. LaPlante pulls away. Ryan Brommer looks to move to second. And Mitchell Collins, playoff contender, will move to his inside, and he will now move as the highest driver battling for the championship in the running order to second place. Easy to tell your playoff contenders apart from those that are not battling for the championship. Playoff contenders with that light lithium blue Duracell banner on the windshield, above the windshield of their race cars. It's hard to tell right there, but I think somebody's already gotten into the wall. James Qualls looked like he had some right side damage. And I think the caution is out. It is. See if we get a camera shot here of the 54. Woo, whoa it down, guys. They're starting to back into each other back there, but nobody really taking some hard shots. I think that James Qualls was around where this wreck would have taken place, because I'm pretty certain I saw him with some right side damage. Now let's see if any of our playoff drivers were caught up in this. Not seeing anybody back here that's badly wounded. Dalton, Butcher, and Rogers all back here in 39th, 40th, and 42nd. Oh, it was a playoff contender. Cole Deaver. His first appearance in the playoffs. William Brock in the 88 looks like he was also involved. Two-time winner Cole Deaver. Rookie last season, second full-time season with S3 Motorsports, and looks like with the stacking up, LaPlante may have gotten run to the back of by Mitchell Collins. They picked the pace car up right in turn one, so they had to really get on the brakes, and some drivers got on the brakes sooner than others. But we'll have to see how that's going to affect LaPlante here for the remainder of this race. Let's go back and see what happened to Deaver for the first caution of the day here at Richmond. Also had Carter Friesen come down pit road with a lot of damage, and there it is. Qualls gets hooked by Cole Deaver. Carter Friesen's going to get into Nathan Ormond. That sends him around. A little bit of extra help from Keith Batson. Ooh, and then Michael Norman comes flying in with Phil Parker. And then the track's blocked up on the entire top line. Oh, another playoff contender there. Jordan Lopez gets a piece. Michael Wayne Robinson, Patrick Smith, maybe Joshua Osborne all involved as things really stacked up there heading into turn one. So there were a lot more drivers involved in this than I originally thought. I did not see the 88 of William Brock get a piece of this, though. There he is. Let's drop back again real quickly because I saw him on pit road. Well, he did get a little bit of it, yeah, with the right front. I thought he got through. I didn't see that right here. He's going to get a piece right there with the right front. Look at J Millz in the 98 come to a dead stop. But his teammate Jordan Lopez did get involved. I don't know about the 19 of Carson Gum. I think he might have gotten through unscathed. So that was a couple of playoff contenders, though, that did get bits and pieces of that incident. And we'll see if they're going to be able to continue on and salvage what they can. The one that I'm worried about the most would obviously be Cole Deaver in that 08 because I think he's lost a lap with the repairs having to be made on pit road. Well, the last thing you want to do is see a playoff contender not even get 5 laps into the first playoff race and already have a bad day. Unfortunately, that is going to be the case for one Cole Deaver. They decided not to continue repairing that car. Apparently, his day is over. They pushed that Weedy Chevrolet into the garage area. He starts his playoffs, his first playoff appearance, with a 42nd position finishing result here tonight at Richmond. Other drivers that were involved that came down and made some repairs to their cars, William Brock, Michael Norman, and Carter Friesen, they've all returned back to the track and on the lead lap. So lights are out top the pace car. We're going to go back green this time. Austin LaPlante leads playoff contender Mitchell Collins. Johnny Gardner is now up to third. Ryan Brommer in fourth. That's a playoff contender. Another playoff contender in Jesse Turner completes the top 5. Then you get Ryan Acosta, playoff driver Charles Belding, playoff driver T Wright in 7th and 8th. Levi McIntire and Jessica Shelton are going to complete the top 10. A couple of drivers that did not come to pit road that kind of surprised me is actually we did have one more lap still before we get the 1 degree signal. James Qualls, who we saw with a pretty pancaked right side, he didn't come to pit road. Jordan Lopez, who we know sustained some front end damage, he didn't come to pit road either. So apparently not willing to give up that track position. It is a short track, so, you know, these drivers, they beat and bang with these race cars, but it doesn't necessarily affect their speed, so why come to pit road, lose positions, especially where in the playoffs every point could matter as to whether you're advancing into the next round or not. Ride it out, see how it feels, and if you get a caution later on, then make the decision, do we come down and repair this thing? LaPlante's 28th in the points coming into this race. So talk about a driver that, that hasn't found victory lane that would really like to just, put a little bit of a rubber stamp on what's not exactly been a very good year for him. This is a driver that was in the playoffs last season. Talking about Austin LaPlante, was a multi-time winner last year as well. And he will lead us back to green. Lap 8 going to go on the board here at Richmond for our first restart of the day. Battle's going to be for second. J Gardner to the inside of Mitchell Collins. Car kind of bottomed out there in the uphill incline onto the back straightaway. Still going to keep it to the inside of Collins, 22. Take a look there from the aerial view. Look at there with T Wright pushing R Acosta into the corner. T Wright making his first playoff appearance. Multi-time winner this season, the Daytona 500 winner. Now, he did have wins previous to this season. He, of course, won back all the way in season 1 at Lakewood, but he wasn't high enough in the point standings that year for it to count towards a playoff position. So he is making his first appearance in the playoffs this year. And second place battle continues between Mitchell Collins and J Gardner. This time Collins going to cross him over. Jesse Turner going to follow in his tire tracks. One thing I noticed when I was going through and reconfiguring the point standings, reformatting them after Auto Club, this is a very Ford-dominant playoffs. You look right now, and you've got Adam Garcia, Mitchell Collins, T Wright, Jordan Lopez, Jesse Turner, Dylan Young, Jose Millz, Keith Batson, Chris Dollerton, all in the playoffs. That's 9 of your 16 competitors all out there in blue ovals. If you're looking for the underdog manufacturer, you'd be looking at Toyota Camry. They've only got one driver in the playoffs this season, and that's Ryan Butcher. Austin LaPlante is running away, even despite that rear end damage he got. It doesn't seem to be affecting him. Mitchell Collins, the driver that gave him said damage, he's now back up to second, T Wright into third, and then you've got a battle for fourth place, Jacob Thibodeaux. Another of the Northeast Motorsports Chevrolets. So you got 2 of them up inside the top 5 with LaPlante leading, and now Thibodeaux into the 4th position. 2-time winner N Ormond making his playoffs debut. He was a former winner in his rookie year last season at Bristol, but he was not able to advance into the playoffs. This year, the representative for Dodge Challenger, along with Zach Rogers and Ryan Brommer. So 3 Dodges, 9 Fords, 1 Toyota, and then the remainder are Chevrolets, and already Chevy not off to the best of starts here with one of the representatives, Cole Deaver, back in the garage area, so that leaves it to the Backmarker Motorsports teammates of Carson Gum and Charles Belding, one of which you saw there just momentarily in the shot. As Keith Batson in the 39 looks back to Dylan Young. Now, Batson, let's not forget, is the defending winner here at Richmond International. And right now in the 9th position, so keep an eye on that Nathan's Hot Dogs Ford Mustang. He could be one of your favorites to win his way into the round of 12 this early on. Dylan Young has got a little bit of front-end damage there on his Wawa Ford. That doesn't seem to be affecting him, however, as he has now slided up into the 10th position. It's been quite a year for Young Motorsports. They have had all 3 of their charter drivers go to victory lane for a total of 6 wins. 3 with Garcia, 2 with Collins, 1 with Dylan Young. Dylan Young was a 3-time winner last season for his team. So that might have been the starting point to really get this team as competitive as it's been. And even their non-charter driver, RJ Bishop, has had some really good finishes in the races that he's made. Of course, remember back to Michigan in the first half of the regular season, where he ended up finishing in second place in the photo finish to Adam Garcia when Garcia picked up his first career Duracell Cup Series win. Keep an eye on this car. talked about J Qualls and that right side damage getting involved in the first and only caution of the day off of turn 4. That car is still fast. He just made his way around Jesse Turner up to 6th place, and he is running lap times about a tenth and a half quicker than the other 5 drivers up ahead of him. And there is Garcia, who I can't say comes into this first round worry-free, but he's certainly in the most comfortable position. 20 points between him and his nearest competitor with the 3 wins he had during the regular season, including the regular season finale last week at Auto Club, as well as those 15 bonus points for winning the regular season championship. And if you consider the fact that he wins the regular season championship this season and compare to the seasons he had prior to this is a driver that for the most part held down the final spot in the point standings for almost 2 straight years. And things just, I don't know, just all of a sudden clicked. I don't know if it was the fact he moved out of the number 12 and into the number 23. I don't know what the thing was, but all of a sudden Adam Garcia just found his groove, and he has been absolutely dominant this season in terms of what he's been able to put together. He leads the series in top 5s with 8. He leads the series in top 10s with 13. He leads with wins with 3. And he also holds the highest average finishing position of 16th place. Mitchell Collins and T Wright, a couple of 2-time winners, going to duke it out for 2nd place. It's taking place, this happening about maybe 7/10 of a second behind Austin LaPlante. Nathan Ormond in the vicinity as well. 6 wins amongst those 3 drivers. Jacob Thibodeaux, non-charter driver, right behind them. And with it being a short track, I don't know if we'll necessarily have it come into play, but we do have to keep the possibility open of lap traffic. LaPlante's going to hit the start-finish line now. Carter Friesen and Michael Norman are just entering into turn 1. Both of those drivers with pretty significant damage involved in that big wreck from turn 4 to turn 1 back in the early stages of this race. Another thing that we don't know is the fuel window for these guys. The 32 laps that we ran in the non-charter race earlier on, they ran those 32 laps completely clean and green and did not have to come to pit lane. So I don't know if pit road, if they will have to come to pit lane here, with it being a 60-lap race, especially with the fact we did have that one caution, an opportunity to maybe save a couple of laps under pacing. Things have really spread out here at Richmond. You got those 5 drivers there with 2nd through 5th all battling it out for positions. Then you've got J Qualls, Adam Garcia, Keith Batson, Dylan Young in 5th through 9th. 10th place battle right now between Jesse Turner and J Gardner. Ryan Brommer holding down 12th with Cody Llamas, Charles Sandfer, and I believe that was Ryan Acosta right now in the top 15. Carson Gunn, the only driver to point his way into the playoffs, right now in 17th. Just lost 16th place to Michael Wayne Robinson. Keep an eye on the 93. Of course, he already went to victory lane this weekend, winning the non-charter race. And he had to start this race all the way back in 37th position. Halfway through, and he's already knocking on the door of the top 15. He's bringing non-charter drivers Quentin Moore, as well as Joshua Osborne along with him. Here's Jordan Lopez. We know that he got a piece of that incident in the early stages. But that car still looks like it's up to speed, holding down 20th. His teammate J Millz back here with Charles Belding. So a couple of the playoff contenders not doing so well. Millz right now 25th. Belding crossed in 28th. And there is the Season 1 champion, Chris Dollerton. He's mired back in the 32nd position right now, trying to work his way up towards the front. And we mentioned about the underdog Camry, the only one in the playoffs right now. Ryan Butcher is in 39th, I do believe. He just picked up that spot from Matthew Rodriguez. No, they've got him scored a lap down in 40th. So I don't know what happened with Ryan Butcher. Whatever it was during this green flag run. Hopefully, if it was a thing that drew him to pit road, we can use our NSRA split cam to find out, but that's huge. And Zach Rogers, 2 playoff contenders now off the lead lap. What happened between those two? I don't know. But they have fallen a lap down, and there's going to be some more that might fall a lap down as well. Nathan Ormond is reeling in Austin LaPlante, who in turn is reeling in the tail end of the field. Carter Friesen just ahead. Michael Norman's 18 also there, just a couple car lengths away. And now it's going to come down between these drivers who is able to maneuver their way through the traffic the best. William Brock also up ahead. That's a teammate to the 48 car. As maybe LaPlante starting to feel the effects of that rear end damage here the longer this run goes on. Could also be the fact he's been spending most of this race out in clean air. Now riding in the draft of the 37 has changed the entire way that car is handling. See him move there down to the inside line, though. That's an indication to Carter Friesen, hey, I'm coming low. Please give me the space. Nathan Ormond got loose there. That car drifted up a couple of grooves through 1 and 2. As now he'll go to the inside of Carter Friesen as well. Jacob Thibodeaux going to follow suit. Ooh, Ormond's looking to the inside here. Oh, and he's going to get there. LaPlante left just enough space open. And now with Michael Norman just in front, Nathan Ormond maybe going to try and use the 18 as a pick. He will at least get the race lead, I think, here through 3 and 4. Jacob Thibodeaux is going to slot into second. Nathan Ormond got his second career win, but first of the season back at Kansas. He would then later follow it up with another win at Kentucky. And now he leads at Richmond, trying to lock himself into the round of 12. Regardless of what happens in the upcoming weeks, next week these drivers will be at the Charlotte Roval, so all the road course ringers will be looking forward to that one. And then our first elimination race takes place at the historical Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where 4 drivers, their playoff hopes will come to a very early end. 20 laps to go next time by for new race leader Nathan Ormond, as Michael Norman holding up T Wright and Mitchell Collins, 4th and 5th place machines. And I would have thought that this traffic was going to allow 6th place on back to actually start closing in. No, that's not the case. They're almost a full straightaway back, are Adam Garcia and company. One thing I was thinking about here too, we don't know yet if these drivers are going to be able to make it to 60 laps on fuel. But if they aren't, there's a number of drivers up here inside of the top 10 that have damage from the little bit of stack-ups we had there under pacing with our first and only caution. Austin LaPlante's got that rear end damage. Mitchell Collins has got front end damage. James Qualls has right side damage. Dylan Young's got front end damage. Why I point that out, I've already made the statement that you don't necessarily have to have a pristine looking car to be up to speed at short track, but if you come to pit road, the damage that you've got on that race car is going to extend the amount of time you spend in your pit stall. So that could be a vital bit of information here if these drivers do have to come to pit lane under green flag conditions in these final 20 laps. Now, if Jacob Thibodeaux and that 33 can get up there, take the race lead away from Nathan Ormond. We talked about the fact that Ormond would lock himself into the round of 12, but if a non-charter driver, or non-playoff driver, I should say, wins this race, then all 16 drivers still are heading into the Charlotte Roval, having to point their way into the round of 12. So that target spot still for a number of drivers, at least 9 drivers, if we were to have 3 different playoff winners in these 3 playoff races in round 1, they would have to be above that 12th and standings cut line. So some drivers come in to this Richmond race, a track that really is all about good starting track position, with the goal of, let's go out there, let's win this thing. Drivers that are towards the rear of the field in the starting grid, they're thinking, all right, let's at least get us up there ahead of some of our competitors, make sure that we are at least the 12th highest finishing driver of the playoff contenders. Phil Parker in the 74, now under fire from Nathan Ormond. who has opened up a bit of distance between himself and the second place driver of Jacob Thibodeaux. LaPlante now slots to third, T Wright in fourth, and Mitchell Collins fifth. Those drivers, unless something happens here in these final 15 laps, looks like they are all going to be leaving with top fives, because it is a long ways back before you get to the sixth place driver of Adam Garcia. There's at least 5 seconds between fifth and sixth, and Garcia's 6.5 seconds behind the race leader. J Qualls, Dylan Young, Keith Batson right there as well. Going to be some good points days for playoff contenders. The 45, 28, 22, 23, 2, and 39, all up here inside of the top 10. Jesse Turner just outside of the top 10 in 11th place, and a battle here between a couple of Camrys, Benny Watson and Quentin Moore, and that is for the 12th spot. Moore right now is the highest running of the non-playoff driver, of the non-charter drivers. Then you drop back here to a 14th place battle between a couple of others. Robinson in the 93 and Joshua Osborne in the 56. Also Dylan Schwallenberg up there. And Justin Dearborn. So your non-charter drivers doing pretty well here tonight. But it's a long ways back to your next playoff contender, which right now it's a battle for 24th between Carson Gum, Jordan Lopez, and then you look back a little ways to the 98 of J Millz, our winner from a few weeks ago at Pocono, which locked him into the playoffs. Now, look at this, a few buddies going at it here for 11th place, as Watson and Quentin Moore have reeled in Jesse Turner. And Watson's going to take the spot. J Qualls closing up the back bumper of Adam Garcia, and a battle for 6th in the closing stages here. And up towards the front, the battle for the lead closes up once again, 0.3 of a second between N Ormond and Jacob Thibodeaux, and more traffic looming up ahead in the form of Matthew Rodriguez. Eight and a half laps to go here on the back straightaway. Those drivers up ahead would include Matt Haas, Zach Stultz, and Matthew Rodriguez. Stultz, really the only non-charter driver that's not exactly doing real well here tonight. Most of the others are up inside of the top 20. Look at Thibodeaux drive it deep there into turn 1. And he got back to the throttle pretty nicely there out of turn 2. Let's compare lap times right now between the top two. 23.167 for Ormond, 23.188 for Thibodeaux. So they're running almost identical lap times. This time a 2.66 for Ormond and a 2.69 for Thibodeaux. So they're right on par with each other. And that's not going to help for Jacob Thibodeaux. He's got to be a tick quicker. Maybe when they catch this traffic up here, maybe Jacob Thibodeaux can utilize that. Maybe that's why he's not forcing the issue just yet. But time is running out. It'll be 6 laps to go this time by. And Thibodeaux just hit pit road in the 33. From second place, Thibodeaux is on pit road. Now it comes down to who's got the fuel to make it. Did anybody else come to pit lane? That's the question. Yes, Joshua Osborne on pit lane. J Gardner is on pit lane. Oh boy, a fuel strategy race here at Richmond. LaPlante is in the 48. Matt Haas on the tail of the lead lap is in. Jack Mitchell, Cody Llamas, Charles Sandfer, Ryan Brommer have all hit pit road. This could be N Ormond's race to lose now. Oh, look out! Osborne merging back up out of the track right in front of the race leader. That sends him up the track. He's going to get hit by Matthew Rodriguez. Caution flies. Stultz is into the pit wall. T Wright as well. Mitchell Collins has slid up into the outside wall there in turn 4. Yellow flag is out. Dylan Young might be coming around to take this race lead. No, Collins led, I think. Oh my goodness, N Ormond's down there, maybe out of fuel in the 45, as he was unable to get to pit lane. Mitchell Collins could be out of fuel. He's going to be diving for pit road. Who's going to inherit the lead now? Several drivers are going to be a lap down. Oh, there's going to be a lot to unpack here, and I don't even know if we're going to get back green. Jesse Turner might be out of fuel in the 47. He's trying to get to pit road. Collins has finally made it onto pit lane. All these guys back here Some of them staying out, some of them wanting to pit. They got to settle this out or someone's going to hit that pit wall. Ooh, Quentin Moore might have brushed it. Oh my goodness, what just happened here? We got more drivers with more damage. They're wrecking on the front straightaway with D Schwallenberg. What the heck is going on? So Dylan Young, I think, is going to be the race leader. Mitchell Collins is out of this race after he nailed the outside wall in turn 4. Dylan Young right now is going to inherit the lead. He's expecting this thing's going to finish under caution, and he might have enough fuel to save to make it the rest of the way. I don't know. I do not know. We're going to find out here. It'll be 2 to go this next time by. Let's look and see everything that happened there in turn 4 to bring out this freak caution at a very untimely moment for several drivers, and may have just given Dylan Young this race win. So Osborne in the 56 just made his pit stop. He's merging back onto the track. N Ormond, oh, he gets run into the right rear by Z Stultz. That's what set him up the track. But I think he wanted to get to pit road. Matthew Rodriguez was going to stay out an extra lap, and you just cannot come down in front of traffic like that from the second groove. And Rodriguez is actually going to hit the pit wall right there. We'll see that in just a moment. Z Stultz hits the pit wall as well. But Ormond's going to get hit there by Mitchell Collins. Collins slides up into the outside wall. Now watch the 2 of Dylan Young. As William Brock slides around, Dylan Young's back here in the 2 car. There he is. And watch what he's going to be seeing up ahead of him. Ormond gets the thing refired. Mitchell Collins gets the thing refired. Here comes Michael Norman around trying to get his lap back. And there's Dylan Young. He's going to bypass the 45 before they get to the start-finish line. Not quite going to be able to get his teammate in the 22. But as we know, Mitchell Collins is now out of this race. And right there, Dylan Young coming around to receive the caution flag. That right there might have been the winning move. Who crossed in second? Was it Turner? I think it might have been Turner. Then Baker in third. But it's a question of whether these drivers here are all going to be able to make it off fuel. There's the 45. I think he was running out of fuel at this point in time. He's down out of everybody's way. Let's go back and take another camera angle there of the drivers that hit that pit wall, those barrels just before pit road. But I think Dylan Young has won this race and advanced his way into the playoffs, the round of 12. There it was again. Yeah, Rodriguez was not coming to pit road. That was on N Ormond in the 45 for coming down the track there. You cannot pit from the second lane. And right there, Matthew Rodriguez, Z Stultz, I don't think either one of them were going to pit, but they had that very low exit coming into turn 4. And you see T Wright in the 28 gets a piece. Look at William Brock slide through, literally. Collins there on the top of your screen, getting to the outside wall. So about 6 drivers involved in that wreck, and it's had some very catastrophic results for some playoff contenders, namely Ormond and Collins. And you don't know how much damage the 20 of T Wright sustained. That's another 2-time winner also. Caution is out for what's going to be the final time today. The question now that we have to ask is, do we get back green? I somehow don't think we do. And is this move right here, coming back to the caution, the move that is going to advance Dylan Young as the first driver locked into the round of 12? We're going to find out in just a moment. We're heading back live as we are about to have the white flag displayed. So this is the way your top 10 looks right now, as we will receive the white flag this next time by. We will not get back green flag racing. You've got Dylan Young, the leader. Jesse Turner is now up to second. Third is Charles Belding. So playoff contenders right now in the 3 podium spots. Jessica Shelton and Ryan Acosta, they complete the top 5. Another playoff contender in Jordan Lopez is now up to 6th. 7th is Cole Baker. T Wright right now is being scored in 8th, with Austin LaPlante and Adam Garcia in the top 10. So you've got 6 playoff contenders right now inside of the top 10, and Dylan Young just received the white flag. We talked about the fact that Dylan Young was a 3-time winner last year. This season, he's seen his teammates go to victory lane a total of 3 times for Garcia. and twice for Mitchell Collins. Dylan Young does have a win this year. That, of course, was earlier on at Atlanta. Is the 2 out of fuel? He's just got to make it back around. Belding's out of fuel. Oh, no. Are you kidding me? They've just got to pace themselves. They just got to pace themselves around. Can he maintain the speed? Can Dylan Young maintain the speed? He's out of fuel. He is out of fuel. The car is coasting. It is losing speed. Where's Turner? Where's Jesse Turner? Belding's out of fuel. Is Turner out of fuel? Where's the 47? Oh, he had to come to pit road. Who's winning this thing? Who's coming around to win this? I don't know. The checkered flag is waving. Who does it score the winner? Who is it? Dylan Young's out of fuel. Jessica Shelton's out of fuel. Can Young make it to his pit stall? Is it before or after the start-finish line? Shelton crossed the line. Dylan Young crossed the line. Who crossed it first? It was Dylan Young crossed it first. By 0.3 of a second, Dylan Young did cross the start-finish line on pit road to win. Shelton's going to finish second. She almost sniped this victory. And Ryan Acosta's going to finish in third. Belding did coast across in fourth, and Lopez crossed in fifth. But Shelton almost sniped this victory from Dylan Young. If Dylan Young's pit stall... Oh, Shelton's out of fuel now and can't even make it back to pit road. If Dylan Young's pit stall had been before the start-finish line, Shelton would have won this race because she was coasting across the start-finish line out on the track. But it is official. Dylan Young is going to win. It's his second win on the season. And it is, I believe, the third win for Ford here at Richmond International. Keith Batson and Cody Llamas, both former winners here at Richmond with the Blue Ovals. Carter Friesen, the only non-Ford driver that won, and that was last year in his Chevrolet. I want to go back here real quickly, and I want us to take a look at where Dylan Young was when he crossed the start-finish line in relation to Jessica Shelton. The start-finish line area is marked on pit road. You're going to see it here. The bold white line right here. This is where the start-finish line is at Richmond, marked on pit road. There is Shelton. That's how close it is right there, folks. Now, it says 0.3 of a second, which seems like an awful big margin. But when you consider the fact that these drivers are pacing and actually running out of fuel at less than 30 miles per hour, that's why it translates to as big of a gap as it is. In all honesty, it was half a car length between those two. So you put that in conditions of if they were coming back to the start-finish line under green, you're probably talking about, I don't know, maybe 4/100ths between those two. But there is Young, there is Shelton. Both drivers at the time were at less than 30 miles per hour. Shelton was out of fuel at 23 miles per hour. Dylan Young was at 19 miles per hour. I told you Richmond was going to be an exciting race. I didn't plan on something like that. Theoretically, a 30 or a 20 mile per hour photo finish here, under pacing, with drivers out of fuel, is how we kick off the playoffs here in Season 4 of the Duracell Cup Series. Look at that. That right there is the race winner. Out of fuel, on pit road, and barely getting to the start-finish line ahead of another driver out of fuel out on the racetrack. So Dylan Young's going to advance into the round of 12. He is worry-free at Charlotte, Roval, and Indianapolis in the upcoming weeks. Shelton's going to get her best finish of the season in second. So close to sniping that victory. Ryan Acosta is going to bring it home with third. Good starting and finishing position for him. He rolled off outside the front row and will finish in the podium. And good points nights for playoff contenders Charles Belding, Jordan Lopez, T Wright, Adam Garcia, and Keith Batson. They'll all finish inside the top 10. How about Chris Dallerton? The non-charter driver turned charter driver, playoff contender, and former champion. He'll bring it home with 11th. Jesse Turner came to pit road on the final lap to have enough fuel to make it the rest of the way. He'll still get a 13th place run. J Millz will finish in 15th place. And a lot of your drivers that were up there towards the front late in this race got mired back in traffic because of that caution. Jacob Thibodeaux, who was running second, is going to finish in 18th place. Nathan Ormond we'll get to in a moment. He, I don't even think, made it back to the start-finish line. As rest of your playoff drivers got Zach Rogers 23rd. And they get all the way down to find Ryan Butcher, 2 laps down in 36th. Nathan Ormond will finish 2 laps down in 37th after leading a good portion of the second half of this race. Ryan Brommer, 2 laps down in 38th. Mitchell Collins did not make it back around to the start-finish line. He'll finish out of the race in 39th, along with Matthew Rodriguez, Zach Stultz, and Cole Deaver. So you've got a number of drivers that finished well, number of drivers that did not finish well. Boy, are they going to have their hands full in trying to mount a comeback here in the next 2 races, which begins next week at the road course configuration at Charlotte Motor Speedway, lovingly known as the Charlotte Roval. Hope you guys will join us for that, but my goodness, what a way to kick off the playoffs here. Drivers gasping for fuel to the start-finish line, and only half a car length asides Dylan Young advancing into the round of 12. Crazy caution coming out there at the end as well to lead to such an unbelievable finish here at Richmond International. But if this is the precursor for what we can expect for this first round, you're going to want to tune in next week at Charlotte Roval and the following week at our first elimination race at Indianapolis. But congratulations to Dylan Young. Second win on the season. It is the 7th win overall for Young Motorsports. And Dylan Young is officially the first driver that will be in the round of 12 in 2 weeks' time. Hope you guys enjoyed this bizarre race at Richmond. If you did, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, be part of the crew today. We have shown you full video results. These are your point stands and your playoff points after Richmond heading into the Roval next week. I've been Seth Cole, and you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best.